go. Hello everybody and welcome back. It's me, ChipZ, and we are doing another episode of ChipZ Ahoy where we're doing our initial read-through and reaction and discussion of One Piece chapter 1058, New Emperor. I wasn't unfortunately able to react to this when it was fresh in everybody's head on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I was actually on vacation this past week, so just got back late last night, and kind of had to work late, had some stuff to do after work, so this was really the earliest I could get to the chapter. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. I don't expect much of a turnout for this one, considering the hour in which I have begun to stream, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we get a few people who show up, and if not, we'll just have fun talking through it on our own, and maybe people in the VOD will get a kick out of the stream. So we'll see what happens. Not too bothered by this, not being, not getting the traffic that it normally does. Not that I normally get a ton of traffic, so it is what it is. But anyway, yeah. So it was interesting because I was on vacation last week. Got some sun, got to go to the beach, got to hang out with the family, got to go out to eat a lot, got to take off of work for half a week, which was great. I didn't even miss One Piece a little bit. I barely interacted with anyone online because basically the moment I was on vacation, spoilers were already out there. I was just trying to avoid that shit as much as I possibly could. So, I've remained mostly spoiler-free for this chapter. I will say, I've seen, a few things here and there, on Twitter, some, individual panels. I can't really make sense of any of them. I just scrolled by them really fast, so I don't know what they mean. But what I can glean from what I've heard, and I just want you guys to know exactly what I know going into this chapter, because like I said, this is my initial read-through, as it is with all of my ChipZ Ahoy streams. But essentially going into this chapter, all I know is that, all I've heard is that we get bounties for the rest of the crew this chapter, which is exciting. I'm interested to see, how the government thinks of our guys, how they've, how they rate them, how they rank them. I am excited to see what's up with that. Everyone loves numbers go big. Everyone loves to see. We all want to see the Straw Hats go to the moon, right? So it should be interesting. And the only other thing I have kind of heard about is that we might check in with Buggy and Cross Guild this chapter, which I am far more excited about than getting new bounties. But new bounties are still interesting. I'm still, I'm not immune to some hype fanaticism. I'm interested to see what we get. We can basically get into the chapter right away. Don't want to keep anyone waiting. Want to keep the VOD. Like last week's VOD went super long. I forget. I don't remember if it's because we had a lot of, if I had a lot of comments to read and I was going back and forth to chat for a while rather. But yeah, I don't know. It was, ended up being over 2 hours. And I don't remember why. So before getting into this chapter, I will say, I mentioned this last week, but my schedule for the first half of the year, allowed for me to do 2 streams a week, which is what I was trying to do, essentially a gaming stream earlier in the week, usually either Sifu or Elden Ring or Solar Ash or something like that, and then a One Piece stream later in the week. Because I kind of took my Elden Ring playthrough offline and started kind of just focusing on getting that on YouTube with a good VOD quality, I ended up sort of only doing 1 stream a week for a while. Now I'm back to doing I wanted to get back to doing 2 streams a week, but I needed a bit of a break over the summer. I've just been a little bit busier. I hope you can understand that. I work full-time. I'm not a full-time streamer. I am very much a part-time recreational streamer, as if you couldn't guess. This is not my, my main thing by any means, which I'm sure you probably could tell. That being said, I have a lot of other content planned for the back half of the year, including on my main YouTube channel, which is just ChipZ in the description, or rather, it's one of the first like links on my Twitch channel. So if you want to check that out, if you're interested in like, video essays, thematic analysis of various, pop culture and media, like that's a good place to go for that. Occasionally I'll get like a comedy video on there, or like a video where I do like a rant or a riff. Regarding kind of like the future of Chips Ahoy, my One Piece like initial read-through show, it's going to be restructured at least until the end of the year. And here's what I have in mind. And it's basically because unlike kind of for the first half of the year, the first quarter of the year, I don't really have as much time to do. I can't like verifiably promise that I can have 2 streams a week going forward. So essentially what I'm going to do instead of basically a gaming stream earlier in the week, like Monday, Tuesday, and then a One Piece stream on Thursday or Friday, instead what I'm going to do is do 1 stream every week consistently. And it's going to be probably going to be like a Wednesday or Thursday stream, most likely. It's either going to be Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday. So it's going to be okay. I'll solidify the schedule a little more. It'll probably be Thursday, Friday, or like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Like it'll be sometime in the back half of the week, essentially. So it won't be Monday, Tuesday. Probably won't be Sunday. But you could expect a stream from me every week until the end of the year, and it's going to be basically every other week. It's going to be Chips Ahoy. So this week I think we're on break this week. I'm pretty sure I'm not 100% on that, but that would make a lot of sense with Oda's kind of publishing schedule as of recent. So what you can expect going forward is basically like this week, I'm doing an extra stream on Monday because I've heard this chapter is pretty cool, so I want to react to it live. But later this week, I'm going to be streaming Thamisia, which is a new Souls-like game. So if you're new to my channel, I do 2 types of streams, and it's gaming streams, specifically kind of like third-person action games, either action games or action RPGs. Typically, I do a lot of Souls-likes. I do a lot of kind of like, somewhat challenging games, although I am planning to kind of do some outliers like BioShock, or the Pathless, stuff like that. But I play a lot of like kind of like third-person action games of various types, usually with some sort of combat element to them. That's kind of my bread and butter. That being said, like One Piece is also my bread and butter, so it really is going to be, one week off of Chips Ahoy and 1 week, 1 week on, essentially. So this week is going to be an off week in the sense that there's no chapter this week, so this is a good week to start. And I'm just kind of doing this stream because I didn't get to do one last week. But essentially, from here on out, now that Wano is over, until the end of the year, I'll reevaluate this at the beginning of next year. But essentially, the idea is that later this week on like Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I'm going to be streaming Thamisia, which is like kind of a Bloodborne-esque game. Basically, it's kind of like Bloodborne with like almost like Sekiro combat is what it looks like. I haven't actually booted it up yet. I'm basically going to be doing the full playthrough on the channel, unless the quality looks awful on Twitch, in which I'm going to try to work that out, but we'll see. That's going to be every other week until I beat it, or until I get bored with it and want to play a different game. So we'll see. I ideally want to do a full playthrough of that. If I find that it's just like really bad, if it's not a good game, I've heard it's good, but if I find that it sucks, I might just move on. Or if it like loses my interest really quick, I might just move on. But I will try to like stay consistent on that until we beat it. I want to have another full playthrough on the channel after my Elden Ring playthrough. So I do have some more footage from some of my other playthroughs like Sifu and Solar Ash to upload to YouTube as well. So if you want to follow my VODs or see them after they get removed from Twitch, you can subscribe to my Bag of Chips channel, my second channel, which is also linked on my Twitch channel. And one thing I should note as well is that there's essentially how do I put it? So like essentially like later this week, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I'm going to be streaming Thamisia. And then next week, there'll be a new One Piece chapter, if I have predicted Oda's schedule apparently. So I'll be doing a ChipZ Ahoy live reaction like I'm doing today. The following week, even if there is a chapter, I'm going to still be doing either a Thamesia stream or a gaming stream of some kind. Most likely Thamesia, potentially something else, but most likely Thamesia. And then the following week, I'll end up doing 2 chapters. So if a chapter comes out next week and the week after, I'll have read the chapter from next week, but then I'll be reacting live to and doing my initial read through of, in this case, chapter 1060, 2 weeks from now. So essentially that will end up being kind of like the format going forward. I will still read through chapter 1059 in not next week, but the following week, not this week, but not next week, but the following week. But then I'll read through it quickly, briskly, because I'll have already read through it an initial time, just talk about my thoughts on the chapter, give you guys, have a little bit of discussion with you guys so you guys know how I felt about the chapter, even if I didn't get to react to it live as I've been doing. And then we'll do my initial read through of the new chapter, which in this case would be 1060, with you guys together. So it should still be, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'm open to feedback about whether this format is better or worse. I imagine there will be a little bit of growing pains because it's just, it's fun to do the initial read through live with you guys. So I will, to some degree, miss doing that on a weekly basis. But this way I get to kind of, because I only have one free night to stream right now, at least until probably the end of the year, that I can, I might have more, and if I do have more, I will use those evenings to stream. But again, it is I just have more things going on in the evenings these days, and that's when I have time to stream. So it's just I have to find the best way to use my time, and that's kind of, this gives me the chance to still do my playthroughs, my gaming streams, while also continuing to cover One Piece. So hopefully you can appreciate that. Hopefully that is something that you will accept. And if it ends up hurting the format too much, obviously I'll reevaluate at the end of the year. And if, maybe by that time I'll have a little bit more time. I'll have an extra evening that I can dedicate to gaming again, and we can get back to the weekly shit. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, sorry for the admin shit. Let's get on into the chapter 1058 of One Piece, titled New Emperor. Here we fucking go. All right. Whew. Okay, so we're continuing with the Germa cover story. Chapter 1058, New Emperor. And this is all I've seen of the chapter, since I've opened the page, obviously, as it is every week. Germa 66's Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 17. Please take me with you, he screams at these guys. And these guys already look pretty fucked up. So clearly Katakuri, at least Niji does. Katakuri really fucked this boy up. He's all bloody and shit. It's hard to say how fucked up these guys are. God, Reiju. God damn, that fucking outfit. That is a deep V-neck. That is an ultra deep V-neck. That reminds me of that, there was a College Humor sketch from a million years ago, 10 years ago or something, where they were talking, it was a super deep V that became a popular thing, or and everyone had kind of a really, it was a commentary on, yoga pants or jeggings, which were a big thing at the time. Okay, now I'm fucking dating myself as an old ass bitch, so I'm just gonna keep going. Forget that I mentioned it. But yeah, that is a revealing ass outfit, Reiju. God bless you, and and repent for your sins. I'm joking. Yeah, the ship follows the log posts for the first time since Fishman fucking Island. Crazy, right? Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people who really hate that we haven't been, just following the log posts and, going to random islands. Personally, I found this ramping up of, I found the singular storyline of kind of ramping up to Kaido to be a very satisfying and fulfilling thing, even if there were some aspects of it that could have been much better, like the way Doflamingo was handled, kind of the way like the stuff with Kaido sort of ended. It felt like, and I think last time I was a bit, I went a little easy on Wano because my overall feelings were like, I enjoyed Wano, I had fun with it. I think the stuff, like overall, like even though there were definitely things I would have preferred to be different, there were things I would have changed, I still think overall I had a really good time with the arc. I still enjoyed it much more than like Dressrosa or Punk Hazard. I probably enjoyed it more than Fishman Island, even though, like, at least on my first read through. But as I've gone back to Fishman Island and as I've kind of like, you know, discussed it with people and like watched more videos on it, I like Fishman Island a lot. Like, I think thematically it's really, really strong. Like, it definitely like makes me feel more things than a lot of other arcs in One Piece, which is why it's, you know, probably in my top 10, not my top 5. But it's you know, it ranks fairly highly in terms of like arcs in the New World for me. Obviously, my favorite arc in the New World is Whole Cake Island, and it's like not even close. But you know, Wano was a lot of fun and had a lot of stuff that I really liked, especially in Act 2. Act 2, I think, was really strong. Act 3 had some great payoffs, but also some things that just kind of got dropped. So, like, Act 3 was kind of a mixed bag of, like, it had some dizzying highs, but, like, dizzying lows at the same time. And I think one of the things that I've seen some complaints about this type of thing, and I'm not trying to strawman anyone by saying this type of stuff. And I've definitely like kind of pushed back against some of like the vitriol I've seen from like some One Piece fans about how they felt about Wano. I actually think the Wano wrap-up chapters were really good, but I do somewhat agree that like the way Yamato's wrap-up was handled was like really weird, because Oda was definitely teasing Yamato as a crew member, and then basically at the beginning of last chapter Yamato's just like, yeah, I'm not joining the crew after all. And it's like, well, that was a fucking cock tease for no reason, Oda. Thanks, I guess. Like, I didn't even want Yamato to join, but I was still surprised when he like pulled the rug out from under all the people who did want Yamato to join. It was really poorly handled. Like, Yamato's arc doesn't feel like satisfying because there was no like catharsis to it. Like, there was no moment of him realizing that like, you know, I should stay in Wano, not because I am Odin or want to be Odin, but maybe because I am Kaido's son and I have a responsibility to kind of maybe, like, as someone who admires Odin and as Kaido, you know, Kaido's descendant, I have a responsibility to kind of like make up for what my father did, while also being sort of the protector for Wano, as Odin maybe should have done, instead of just like, you know, excuse me, fucking off and going out to sea, right? So like, I do think, like, in my headcanon, that's what Yamato realized, which kind of allowed for him to like then, you know, decide to stay. And but all it would have needed was for, like, here's the thing, I'm perfectly fine with Yamato using the excuse that like, well, Odin started their journey in Wano, right? So I want to start my journey in Wano too. But all I would have needed is for like Momo to realize that like that's some bullshit, and Yamato's staying because Yamato saw that they couldn't have beaten Green Bull on their own. You know, that would have been enough. Like, just like some acknowledgement from Momo that Yamato is making an excuse to stay because Yamato thinks that they are still needed. And maybe like a conversation between the two of them where Momo's like, no, you should go if you want to. And Yamato be like, no, like, my father did all this fucked up shit to Wano. It's my responsibility. Like, as, you know, his descendant, I should be the one to kind of make good on that. Because the way I see Yamato as like, is as sort of like the good Kaido, like essentially the outside force that, you know, partnered with Wano, but instead of with Kaido, who tried to like, you know, take advantage of Wano and its people and its resources, Yamato is trying to protect those things instead. And like, that on paper is really satisfying, but the thing is, Oda never like squared the circle in terms of actually making Yamato or anyone around Yamato acknowledge that that's what Yamato wanted to do. So, like, it just seems like a very flippant decision for Yamato to want to stay behind. And don't get me wrong, I don't even hate Yamato. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Yamato, and frankly, I understand their complaints, because Yamato is a weirdly handled character. I think Oda went back and forth on what he wanted to do with Yamato. So I think there is, I don't know, I think, like, it definitely could have been handled much better. That being said, I think the way Momo was handled overall was great. I think the way Kinemon was handled overall was great. Obviously, like, they getting cut in half and still being alive, whatever. That didn't even bother me that much, because I knew he wasn't dead. Like, it wasn't like something where I was like, maybe this character's dead. I was like, no, of course Kinemon isn't dead. He hasn't even reunited with Otsuru, so of course he's not dead. Like, it was obvious from the start. That being said, I do think that, how do I put this? Oh gosh, what was I saying? Fuck, where is this train of thought going? There was a lot of things that could have been, like a lot of people have a problem with the Kaido's flashback, because they still have so many unanswered questions about Kaido. And although I feel like we've had enough from Kaido throughout the arc where you can piece together, like, why he cared about death so much, why he, like, committed suicide for fun, or tried to. Like, for me, I see those scenes, and I'm like, okay, I see what Oda was going for with this, and, like, sure, it's not necessarily, like, explicitly spelled out to the audience, and the backstory doesn't necessarily reinforce that aspect of Kaido, the aspect that was initially introduced to us, with him, like, being a suicidal maniac who is, like, just wants to watch the world, maybe not wants to watch the world burn, but you know what I'm saying. Like, there are aspects, but, like, to me, seeing Kaido as, like, sort of this person who had all these lofty ambitions, but as he's become older and realized, like, it's less likely that he might achieve them, even though he still has, he still obviously has the, like, heart to achieve them. He still wants to achieve the things that he wanted to achieve when he was earlier, like, thrust the world into, like, a war and kind of let, like, strength decide who comes out on top. Like, that's, and, like, he clearly admires those who die in a, like, magnificent way that, like, inspires others. Like, that's clearly something that he cares about, but it's not clearly spelled out. And for me, like, I'm okay with that, but I do understand, and I also wanted a little bit more from Kaido. I still am, like, a little iffy on the Nika stuff. We need more information. It doesn't seem like it's reincarnation, but fruits having a will of their own is a little weird. It does kind of, like, call into question, like, how much, of Luffy's, like, kind of personality and his, like, zest for freedom comes from the having the freedom fruit. It does call that stuff into question. Obviously, I still think Luffy is what do you call it? I still think he is how would I put it? What's the word? I still think he's acting of his own free will. I don't think the fruit has affected him in a negative way, but I get why that, like, made people so freaked out, because it made me freaked out when we first heard about it as well. So yeah, there's definitely issues with this, and there's definitely still problems. There were definitely character arcs and just whole things that were dropped. Like, remember when Marco at the very beginning of the arc was like, yeah, I don't think I have to protect Whitebeard's hometown from Weevil, so I don't think I'm going to be able to show up to the raid. Can you give Straw Hat a message for me to Nekomamushi? And then Marco shows up at the raid, basically just, like, throws away the note that he asked Nekomamushi to give to Luffy, and it says something like, "Don't worry, I'll be in Wano." And then not only was that completely useless, Marco was basically just, like, a glorified cameo. He didn't do shit. Like he held off King and Queen for a while until Zoro and Sanji came in. But then, like, when Luffy got beat by Kaido and was, like, basically dead for, like, a couple minutes, like, Marco didn't do a goddamn thing. Like, he blocked an attack from Kaido. He blocked a blast breath from Kaido, which was cool, but, like, that's all he did. And, like, how disappointing. Even Izo at least took out a member of CP0, which was pretty impressive. Marco didn't do a goddamn thing. Marco didn't do shit. And it was like, why were you here, my guy? We didn't even see Marco, like, get to talk to Luffy or anything. And, like, I guess, like, they don't have a great, like, they've never really, like, had a conversation before, but, like, they know who each other are. Marco wanted to give Luffy a message. Marco clearly, like, fucks with the Straw Hats heavy. He thinks they're cool. He called Zoro and Sanji the stars who are about to take the stage. So it feels weird. Like, there's clearly, like, Oda had ideas for what he was going to do this arc that definitely changed as the arc proceeded. And I'm not even criticizing him for that. That happens. It just feels like there are certain things that just, like, Oda kind of sped through, probably because he didn't want the arc to go on for too much longer. Frankly, I'm happy that Wano didn't go on for too much longer. Like, I was so over the raid by the time we got to the chapter where it ended. I was like, okay, fine. But I do agree with guys like Morge who say, like, at least in this case, who say, like, Momo saving the island should have been a bigger moment. Because as much as I love Momo and think he was handled super well in Act 3, I do agree that him just kind of, like, being like, flame clouds, come out! And, like, then, like, just saying that a bunch of times until it works, until he was desperate enough that it worked, and then, like, literally, like, cooming and causing a puddle of clouds to catch Onigashima. Like, I was so hoping for a moment where I think a lot of us were feeling like it was going this direction, where Momo, just like his dad, just like Odin, would hold up the island, kind of like the same way Odin held his retainers above the pot of oil. Like, that's what a lot of people were hoping for, like, basically, like, kind of Momo carrying the forces of the raid on his back, just the same way his father did. And it kind of baffles me that we didn't get that, and it feels like what happened with the flame clouds really feels like kind of a rush resolution. It just doesn't feel satisfying. And as much as I like the next chapter where Momo really gets to, like, step up and be a leader, and him and Kinemon have that moment where he's like, Kinemon tells him to fake it till he makes it, which has been Momo's whole thing all along. Like, I love Momo, and I love Kinemon, but Momo had, like, one of the best, like, character arcs, one of the most, like, clearly defined and, like, one of the most satisfying character arcs in all of One Piece, as far as I'm concerned. But, that one moment does feel like kind of, like, it felt like there's certain chapters that where Oda, like, packed certain things into a single chapter that should have been, like, at least 2 chapters. This also goes for, like, this stuff with, like, Jack and Prospero kind of, like, getting skimmed over in their fights with Nekomamushi and Inuarashi. There are issues. I can see that Wano has some problems, but, Oda, he prioritized some things that maybe he shouldn't have prioritized, like some Yamato stuff that maybe was given more importance than maybe it needed to be given. And then there were other things that he didn't give as much time as he probably should have. And that's, it is what it is. It is what it is. This arc was still, in my opinion, like a 6.5 out of 10. I still like it. I still had a lot of fun with it. I'm excited to reread it. Maybe I'll make a video on it. Maybe I'll have something to say about the themes. Because we talked about the themes in the stream last time with Chad, and that was a really fun time. I think I do have some more to say about this arc. We'll see what happens, though. I'm excited to see what comes next. So, without further ado, sorry for going on my big Wano wrap-up, my big Wano criticism tangent. I just felt like I was a bit too charitable to Wano last stream. So I wanted to kind of, state my issues with the arc as well before moving into the new arc. And I just want to say I'm so excited that we are following the log post again, and that it does kind of feel like we've wrapped up all of the loose ends that we've had from, like, the past, like, since Punk Hazard, and now we can just, like, go on an adventure together. And that feels really just the Straw Hats, without any allies, without any place that we're specifically looking to travel to. It's just like we're just on the high seas, exploring them once again in the new world. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's really exciting. It feel like I can feel, like, the adventurous energy, coming over me. It's a good feeling. All right, so let's continue here. Okay. Gah! The ship follows the log post, looking ahead. Use our excuse for a captain as it gradually leaves Wano behind. I'm sorry. Okay. Emperor, Strawhat, Luffy. I love that you see him looking so pathetic, and then his epitaph is Emperor, Strawhat, Luffy. That brain-dead stunt almost killed the entire crew. This is like jumping off the waterfall. Nami says, there's a limit to how much stupidity will swallow. Jinbei, having a good hearty laugh at that. Wah! No one was hurt. Don't be too hard on him. We need to keep him on a tight leash, Jinbei. And Jinbei's like, whoa. So, okay. I will say, one thing I've been talking with people about in a bunch of different servers is like how Jinbei is going to jive with the rest of the crew, right? And that's something we've all been curious about. Because like Jinbei, like Oda's been teasing us like for basically like 10 years now with Jinbei potentially becoming a member of the Straw Hats. He's finally on the ship. He's finally like a real part of the crew. Are we going to get like the Jinbei like sake, cheers celebration that we always do for every new crew member in this chapter? That would be sick. But I'm happy that Stonewall Jinbei kept Yamato off the crew. Crew's closed. Shut the door. Hey everybody, sorry about that. My computer crashed randomly. So apologies for the break in the stream. It looks like we're doing better now, though. I'm going to keep an eye on the status, make sure that my system doesn't overload, maybe close a couple tabs as well. But yeah, so far it looks like we're back to being okay. So hopefully we stay that way. Obviously, I'll just be keeping an eye on things. Apologies for the interruption. Anyway, so getting back to the chapter. Let me go ahead and show that to you guys. So, okay. So, like I was saying, I'm excited to see how Jinbei kind of like fits into the... like how we see him slot into the dynamic on the Straw Hat crew. Like if I had to guess, I would say he's kind of going to be like sort of a straight man like Nami. But it seems like he's kind of okay with like Luffy being a bit of a goofball, and Nami's kind of taking him to task too, which is funny, which is actually funny. Also, does Nami have Conqueror's Haki electricity coming off of her as well as fire? I can see the electricity coming off of her, and Jinbei being like, oh my god. So, that's interesting. We need to keep him on a tight leash, Jinbei. Whoa, he says. Okay, so moving on. Jinbei's kind of freaking out. Conqueror's Haki? Wait, is Oda actually trying to hint that Nami has Conqueror's Haki, or is this like him just having a gag? If Nami ever had Conqueror's Haki, that would actually be hilarious. Conqueror's Haki? I mean, she has been able to beat up Luffy like this since pre-time skip. So like the fact that like Oda turned Garp's Fist of Love, which is like one of the only other things besides Nami that was able to actually beat Luffy up, even though he's rubber, makes me think that like Oda might eventually pull some shit where he gives Nami Conqueror's Haki. I feel like that could happen in the future. It would be kind of dumb, like it would be turning like it's kind of the same issue that I think a lot of people have with just like Haki in general in the series, where it kind of becomes, like it takes elements that were clearly just like tropey or like jokes and turns them into like an actual skill set that can be learned for like plot relevant things as opposed to just like goofy crew interactions. But we'll see, who knows. At the end of the day, I'm actually just really excited to get a chapter just full of crew interactions in general, so I'm pretty excited to see that. Yo, what's up, Sour? How you doing, man? So what is Sour saying? I heard you like pissing on the mangaka one. I do like pissing on the mangaka one. Yeah. Yeah. I assume you mean One Piece. Or One Piss, as they call it in the biz. But, that's just what we do. That's just what we do. We piss all over the mangaka one. Fuck that guy. Anyway, okay, moving on. So, Nami has Conqueror's Haki confirmed. Nami looking sexy in this fucking overall outfit as well. She looks fucking good, man. Luffy, literally a monkey in a cage, which is hilarious. I love that he's introduced as emperor and he's literally like a prisoner on his own ship. Careful, boss. Never cross Nami when she's mad, says Chopper, and Zoro's taking a nap in the background. Brooks back there chilling. See how tough Sunny is? A drop like that, and we only busted a small yard on the mast. So Frankie's obviously proud of his handiwork. Fuck yeah, Frankie, you're the man. I call it two-piece, says Sour Lemon. I call it no piece. No, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if two-piece ever comes about. If it was actually called two-piece, and like I've seen like the memes around the two-piece thing, and it's so fucking dumb. I mean, hopefully Oda knows better than to do a Boruto type of shit, but you know, we'll just have to see if Oda's can spot hackery before it happens. You know, if he has future sight, then we'll talk. Then we'll praise Goda for sure. Okay, so moving on. Thanks. Oh, so a little Big News Morgan's agent came by. Coup! A news coup, huh? Looks like we've got new bounties. Oh shit, so is that Robin who shows the bounty? Let me see Robin Schwan, says Sanji as he goes leaping forward into her loving embrace. Updated bounties for the leaders of the 5,600-man Grand Fleet. Emperor Strawhat Luffy. Okay, so we're getting a bit of what appears to be, and his 9 commanders. They are calling them commanders. It's so funny that like the news just like runs with this shit. Like, it's not like they interviewed anyone on the Straw Hat crew. It's not like, I mean, I guess they interviewed Bartolomeo and maybe like a couple other members of the Grand Fleet, but like, it's just funny that like, now that they're emperors, like, the world gives them like bigger titles. Like, it's not the Straw Hats themselves like structuring their crew in a way where like the crew members get new titles. It's just like, no, Big News Morgans is just embellishing this shit because that's what he does. Numbers chapter, baby. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, Sour. I'm genuinely excited to see the new bounties. I'm like, it's funny. Like, they're funny aspects, and it's interesting to see how like the world government views our heroes. Like, it's an interesting insight into the dynamics of the world at large, and like how they view the threat level of our characters. Although I will say, there's definitely room to criticize that because, technically speaking, Robin being as dangerous and sought after as she is, she should have like a way higher bounty than like basically anyone. Like, she is one of the only people who can read the poneglyphs. She should have like a ridiculously high bounty. Like, it's kind of amazing that she doesn't. But, you know, that's just how things are. That's just Oda. Bounties, as much as people want to say bounties aren't power levels, bounties basically are power levels. Like, they're essentially like, it's for our crew, they're used for gags, but like when we meet a character with like a billion berry bounty, it is like, you're supposed to, like when you meet Jack and he's got a billion berry bounty, you're supposed to be like, oh, okay, so this guy's like stronger than Doflamingo. He's a scary motherfucker. You know, he's a fucking tank. He's a, you know, resilient fucking guy. And like, it's the same thing for like Katakuri. You meet him and you're like, oh, this guy's got over 1 billion berries. Like, he's gonna be a fucking problem, you know? Like, it just is. Like, that's why they had that whole chapter where you get to see, like, you know, all the emperors and their different, like, bounties and stuff. Like, it's clearly supposed to be, like, these guys are so strong that we give bounties that... And it's not like any bounty hunter is going to see... Like, is going to, like, go after a Yonko's head. I mean, they might. I don't know. But, like, that's not, like, what Oda is trying to depict with that, for the most part, you know? It just isn't, because it's never come up. Amity Airbender says, heroes, Luffy doesn't share his meat. Yeah, true. That very particular distinction between Luffy and, you know, whoever the fuck else is a hero in One Piece. By that definition, there are no heroes in One Piece, because everyone in One Piece has something about them that's a little bit selfish. Except for fucking, I don't know. I would have to think about it. This chapter is amazing, though. Glad I hopped in. Yeah, dude. Glad you're here. Appreciate you interacting, being part of the stream a little bit. Sour Lemon says, but you see, Mingo secretly had a bounty of 20 billion. Yeah, honestly, Mingo's bounty was like, I mean, I get that, like, what's it called? The former, it's not the Warlords anymore, but the Warlords, their bounties got frozen when they became Shishibukai. But like, someone like Crocodile, and I think Oda even said this in an SBS. He basically said, like, Crocodile, like, if he said if he had been writing, like, if he had known all of the things about One Piece that he knows now, Crocodile would have had, like, at least 160, like, double the bounty that he had. It was like 80 when it got frozen. He's like, nah, Crocodile's, like, definitely worth way more than that, and, like, I would have given him a bigger bounty, and would have made him a later villain in the series, because he really likes Crocodile. But anyway, whatever. Amity says, if Emu had a bounty put on him, what you think it would be? I mean, that's a tough question, because personally, I still think Emu might end up being a big nerd who, like, isn't that strong. But we'll see. I don't know. Like, Emu's a big question mark for me, man. Like, I don't know what to expect from that guy. He could end up being, like, the strongest guy ever, like the big bad, or he could end up just being, like, a really privileged douche, just kind of like the ultimate Tenryubito, who's just, like, born into power, basically just, like, pulling the strings from behind the scenes, but, like, is more of, like, a chess player and is not, like, he's, like, smart, but he's not, like, strong. That could end up being Emu, but we just don't know. We just don't know. Sour Lemon says, I can tell he really likes Croco Boy. Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the chapter yet, so don't spoil anything, but yeah, well, I've seen a couple things on Twitter that suggest that Croco and Mihawk might have something to do this chapter. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading here. So, let me see, Robin Schwan. Updated bounties for the leaders of the 5,600-man Grand Fleet, Emperor Strawhat Luffy. Ah! So, Sanji spreads the bounties all over the ship, just like he's spreading his tongue all over Robin Schwan over here. And his 9 commanders. Dr. Chopper, the cotton candy lover pet. I wonder if it's bigger. What the heck? So he's still got a super small bounty. 1 billion berry. Or wait, 1,000 berry. A $900 increase. It barely... So that's still weird, right? Because, like, Chopper had that big moment where he saved everyone from the fucking Ice Oni thing. I get that the meme with Chopper is that his bounty is always low because they just think he's a pet. But at this point in time, a bunch of people saw him, like, fighting Queen for, like, a decent portion of time. And, like, he literally, like, said, like, I'm not a Tanuki, and had that big moment. I don't know, this feels a little weird that his bounty is still so small, especially considering he's considered a commander. But whatever, I don't fucking care. It's not that big a deal. It's a funny meme. Navigator, Cat Burglar Nami. Hundreds of millions? Even I'd go after someone with this bounty. Okay. Nami the Gold Digger, as usual. Bounty 366 million. Musician, Soul King Brook. Yo! Oh, yeah! Bounty 383 million. Nice. Okay, so Brook got a bit of an increase as well, even though he didn't fight anyone. But, you know, he had some good showings. He was protecting Robin. He took out those 3 girls with his, like, music note slash, which was, like, the coolest thing ever. Brook is base, so I'm happy to see him get an upgrade as well. Shipwright, Cyborg Frankie. Are you kidding me? I'm not even on this, and it's not even it's just a picture of the Sunny. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. That's a funny gimmick that it's not even his picture. He's pissed off. Bounty 394 million. That's funny. Sniper, God Usopp. Ooh-ah! And his eyes do the weird fucking giant worm thing that they do, like he did with Sugar. Please, no more. Don't get any higher. 500 million. Holy fuck. Sorry, I just saw Robin's before I even read it. But, okay, this is actually good. Robin, like, should have been, like, Robin should have had a bounty this high basically since, like, Water 7. And it's because she is more dangerous to, like, the overall, like, organization that is the world government than basically anyone in the world. Just because of her potential to, like, basically revive an ancient weapon or read the poneglyphs and learn the true history of the world, which is forbidden. Like, she is, like, like by far the most important character in the setting. It's amazing, especially to the world government. So it's like kind of bizarre that like her bounty wasn't already like massive, but it's because bounties are power levels, guys. They just are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break it to you. They just are. Okay, anyway. Sniper got Usopp. I love that Usopp got a big bounty. Basically doubled his bounty size, which is awesome. Sniper got Usopp. Please no more. Don't get any higher. I love that Usopp is like one of the top, like, one of the guys with the biggest bounties in the crew. That's really funny. All right, let's read some comments here. Let's see. But you see, Mingo Sour says, but you see, Mingo secretly had a bounty of 20 billion. Oh, I already read that one. If Emu had a bounty, we already talked about that. I can tell he really likes Croco Boy. I mean, he even before this chapter, he really liked Croco Man. Oh yeah, I'm sure. You know, you can tell. He keeps bringing him back. He clearly loves Croco. Like, Croco is the guy. Croco is the GOAT. Like, and you know, Croco got one of, like, I'm not even that big a fan of Alabasta, but like Croco, just like his design is so cool, and the fact that he keeps giving him like more relevance in the story. Like, he likes him, maybe not as much as Buggy, but he definitely really likes Croco, for sure. He wants that guy involved, for absolutely. Okay. Archaeologist, Devil Child, Nico Robin. This should cheer you up, Chopper. Woohoo! So Nico Robin doesn't even care about this enormous bounty that she has, but hey, that's fine. Bounty 930 million. Cook, Blackleg Sanji, bounty 1 billion 32 million. Wow. Why am I below him? Wait, so he's below Jinbei and Zoro, even though he beat Queen? Why am I below him? And screw you too, Jinbei. Cuck Jeeve Chads, where are you at, my boys? No, I mean, obviously, this is the cuckening happening right before our very eyes to our poor virgin lad, Sanji over here. Get fucked, get cucked once again. Helmsman Jinbei, the Knight of the Sea, bounty 1 billion 100 million berry. You okay, Sanji? Something wrong? What's wrong, Sanji? You having a bad day over there, Sanji? Jinbei just like fucking negging him. Come on, dude. You know what the problem is. You're part of the problem. Swordmaster, Pirate Hunter Zoro, bounty 1,111 million berry. Forget him. Just leave number 4 to his sour grapes. So these are like the sweet commanders or the calamities of Luffy's crew, which makes all the sense in the world. That just makes a lot of sense. Fleet Captain, Emperor Straw Hat Luffy, bounty 300 billion. I said sorry. Let me out already. I'm hungry. Who are you calling number 4? Mind your tone around the crew's second. So obviously Sanji. It's interesting that Sanji didn't get as big of a bounty increase, but I guess Zoro did more. He was in Roof Piece. He did a lot of stuff. Even though I preferred the Sanji content in Wano, specifically in Act 3, more than the what's it called? The Zoro content, which I felt was kind of shallow. The Sanji content was goated. So like, Sanji, but it's funny for Oda to cuck Sanji. it just is funny. Anyway, looks like we're cutting away from the Straw Hats. Before I keep reading, let's see if there's any comments here. Sanji truly is wait, hold on. I missed a few. Okay, here, let's see. Yeah, Chopper could wipe out Usopp. Yeah, I mean, Chopper would fucking floor Usopp. Chopper fought Queen for like 30 minutes. So Chopper is, like he didn't really damage Queen. He just kind of like held his attention for a while, but that's still impressive. Queen's a strong motherfucker. So it's interesting that Zoro and Sanji still have like lower bounties than King and Queen, but it's fine. It doesn't really, and obviously Luffy has lower bounty than Kaido, but that makes sense because he beat Kaido with help. So it's fine. And technically Zoro and Sanji also beat Queen and King after they Queen and King had been fighting Marco, they'd been fighting Chopper and other people. So it's understandable that they wouldn't be as high as those guys right away. They're still all these guys are over 1,000 though, so that's pretty, or over 1 billion rather, so that's pretty cool. Sanji truly is the ultimate cuck. Yes, yes, he is. Sour Lemon, you think Chopper could beat Usopp? Oh, okay, so Amity's asking Sour Lemon a question. Usopp could shoot a rotten egg at him. That's true. Glad we're on the same page. Yeah, honestly, it's the matchups that matter here. That's how you, it's not just like it's a more of a rock, paper, scissors thing than like just like someone has a higher power level type of thing. But yeah, Chopper's nose, very sensitive, so that could be a problem for him. Chopper could stomp Usopp out even with his 1,000 bounty. Yes. I mean, technically, yes. Technically, yes. Okay, fucking Cross Guild, it's time. Here we go. Oh my god. Empty Bluffs Island. I just saw this panel. I couldn't, what was I gonna do? Cover it with my hand? I can't fucking ignore this shit. Empty Bluffs Island, New World. Did you see that? Of course. He's the real deal. The world's greatest swordsman? Talk about scary. I thought it was all over. When they banned the warlords and all those naval ships showed up... Is this in the past? No, okay, I guess it's not. When they banned the warlords and all those naval ships showed up, we should have known Chairman Buggy had something up his sleeve. Okay, so maybe this is coming back to, what happened. Hold on, please! I'll do anything. I'll even lick your boots clean. Just let me live. Emperor Buggy the bombastic clown. So obviously these two are pissed off that they now are seen as, subordinates to Buggy. Cross Guild was supposed to be under me and Hawkeye. Cross Guild was supposed to be under me and Hawkeye. So tell me, why are you considered the boss, Buggy? So they fucked him up because, obviously, they don't want to be seen as his subordinates, but Morgan's clearly has taken a liking to Buggy. He likes Buggy's style. Buggy's a flashy dude, so, of course, he's got to give Buggy the credit where it's deserved, I can't do anything about it but apologize. It really isn't a big deal or anything. You're probably the only person in history to become an emperor after crying for mercy. Having you die here wouldn't even begin to make up for this. Former warlord, Hawkeye Mihawk. Former warlord, Sir Crocodile. So this is cool. Seeing these three guys who have been staples of the series together interacting like this is awesome. I can't deny it. It makes me feel really good just to see these guys coming back and being relevant in the story again. This is beyond insulting. I can't find the words for it. Please spare me. And it's funny because Crocodile worked with Buggy when they escaped Impel Down, so he knows Buggy's a fucking garbage man. He knows Buggy is not emperor material. And Buggy and Mihawk kind of fought, and Mihawk's attacks aren't particularly effective against Buggy because Buggy is immune to slicing weapons, so it's interesting to see that this pairing again, since they all are familiar with each other. They've all come in contact with each other before. Please spare me. Don't make unreasonable requests. And then former Barockworks agent, Crocodile underling his name's Galdino. I just always knew him as Mr. 3. Mr. 3, honestly, is probably one of my favorite villains in One Piece. He was such a sneaky motherfucker, and he was similar to who's a good example? He was kind of one of the first real villains who wasn't super strong, but was kind of a strategist. He basically pitted the giants against each other. He pitted the giants against the Straw Hat crew. He essentially used his cunning, used his environment to his advantage, and kind of was able to actually put the Straw Hats on the ropes by just being a sneaky, conniving motherfucker. So I appreciate Mr. 3 a lot. He's a good boy. Oh, boss, it's so nostalgic to be serving you again. Galdino, how could you turn on me? I don't recall ever joining your crew officially, buffoon. Grrr. Which is interesting, because he's been hanging out with Buggy for, the better part of 3 years, so... But anyway, since the chairman's a goner, what are we meant to do? So these guys are just chilling. They're we don't fucking care. Follow Crocodile, naturally. So they're, thinking of jumping ship and joining Crocodile. It's a cold, harsh world out there. Buggy's just like a fucking pile of robes on the floor. And we got Mr. One over here just hanging out. What's his name? Das Bonus? Das Bones? He's a cool guy. Okay, let's see what's going on. So Crocodile, so Mihawk's like looking over. Kuhahaha! I hear you've lost your warlord perks, Hawkeye. What do you want, Crocodile? So he's thinking back to the formation of Cross Guild. Interesting. And this is on Gloom Island, which is Mihawk's home. Kuhahaha! I hear you've lost your warlord perks, Hawkeye. What do you want, Crocodile? So he called him. Interesting. So he didn't show up. He just gave him a call. Marines keep swarming this island. It's a nuisance, but I suppose I'll just have to relocate. So he's just been fucking sinking ships and just drinking wine and reading. So, okay, interesting. Letting the baboons deal with a lot of the issues, I guess. This just shows that it would be beneficial for us to team up. The Navy wouldn't take an organization headed by the two of us lightly. After all, they used to refer to you as Marine Hunter. Interesting. So at one point, Mihawk... So we're actually getting, like, Mihawk backstory, which is crazy, because we've never really seen... You know, we've never really learned that much about, like... All we know about Mihawk's past is that he used to be, like, Shanks' rival. Him and Shanks used to have these duels, and they were, like, swordsman-type duels. And essentially, like, Shanks and him were, like, roughly evenly matched. At least as they were kind of like young pirates in the scene. Like, this is after Shanks presumably was no longer a part of Roger's crew. This is when he had gone off on his own. So, yeah. But that's, as far as like his backstory, that's really sort of all we know about him. Like, so it's interesting to hear that he was called the Marine Hunter at one point. And then obviously he became the Pirate Hunter when he became a real boy, a warlord. Anyway. Usopp's rotten egg low diffs every opponent. Honestly, you make a good case there, Sour Lemon. You make a hard argument there. It's hard to disagree. Yes, sirree. Crocodile. Yes, that my man is a D for sure. After all, they used to refer to you as Marine Hunter. You and I are the same. We don't trust anyone. So these guys are hanging out, and then Buggy notices Mihawk looking over. Eek! Captain Buggy! Where are you going? There's no reason to sweat over these Marines, right? Damn it, I was about to make a break for it. Take a look, their warlords are already under attack. Their warships are already under attack. Their warships are what? They keep sinking one after another. What? What kind of hero is behind this? So this is back when, so now we're getting a Buggy flashback of this Cross Guild shit. So, are we about to get, like, the Buggy arc? Essentially, like, Luffy, instead of, you know, now that we've beaten Big Mom and Kaido, now we take on the real Emperor next, Buggy the Clown. Buggy the bombastic clown. That's the shit that I've been waiting for, to be honest. That's the real shit. This looks like it's Mihawk, Crocodile, Dust Bonus. Fuck yeah, dude. Crocodile's so fucking sick. His powers are so cool. So good. Their warships are what? They keep sinking one after another. What kind of hero's behind this? It's Crocodile, sir. And then Das Bonus is there as well. He looks like a badass. I guess the rumors about him working under Chairman Buggy are true. What? So there were already rumors about that? Talk about inspiring loyalty. He's risking himself just to save us from this? That's our Buggy. Oh, Crocodile's here, huh? Yeah. Holy crap, he must be here because of all that cash I owe him. Wait, so he owes Crocodile a bunch of cash? Okay. I'm broke. What should I do? This is even worse than the Marines. Wait, so why does he owe Crocodile cash? That's actually confusing. You're still here. Knowing you, I figured you'd have bolted by now. So wait, how are these guys affiliated? I guess is Croc like a loan shark and Buggy owes him money? So this is interesting because a lot of people had speculated that the reason Buggy was like had the funds to basically put out hits on Marines was because he had found Captain John's treasure. But now it seems like he's just taken out loans from Crocodile and like, you know, so that's a little bit less impressive, but whatever. It is Buggy after all. I know business at Buggy's delivery might look all hunky-dory, but the truth is we've got too many mouths to feed, and all the giants who are our top earners just quit. If you don't have any scratch on hand, I can always sell you into slavery. Don't say stuff like that. We're old prison buddies, remember? Croco-chan? Croco-chan. This is pretty funny. I would be down with like a whole series about Buggy's delivery. That just sounds like, or just Cross Guild in general. That just sounds like a really, I'm loving the dynamic here. So good. I already did you a solid by agreeing to lend to you. If you can't pay me back now, you will take full responsibility. I'm about to form my own company, and I need the capital. Interesting. So he's calling on the money that Buggy owes him. Oh, come on. Then why not let me join? You can acquire my company to help start yours. It may not be much. So he's basically filing bankruptcy. He's selling his own company to Crocodile to basically, form Cross Guild, essentially. My company to help start yours. It may not be much, but you'll get a former warlord serving you. I'll work twice as hard to pay off my debt. It's always good to be flashy and get the word out with a bang. We've got all sorts of people that can help with that. Advertising experts. Buggy's main power in this world is his PR. That is the thing that he is better at than anyone in One Piece, is his PR. And I love that Oda has canonized that now. It's like, no, Buggy isn't strong, Buggy isn't smart, but he's got the best PR in the game. That's fucking hilarious. That's great. Let's see. Yo, Straw Hats versus Cross Guild? Based. Yeah, man, it's coming. Believe it. Advertising experts, printers, couriers, you can work us to the bone for free. And this is the oh, so Buggy created the flyer. And this is the flyer. So that's why these guys are pissed. You had them send it, and this is the flyer you had them send out, right? You sure stand out, Mr. President. It's not what it looks like. I didn't mean for this to happen. If it wasn't deliberate, then explain. So he's making him eat the fucking flyer. Owie. Splutter. It wasn't me, I swear. My employees just love me too damn much. I was as surprised as anyone when I saw it. Hey, what's with the flyer? He's actually telling the truth. I couldn't stop myself from giving you the top billing, boss. Huh? And obviously his narcissism got to his head. We've already sent it out to every corner of the world. Huh? So he's got graphic designers working for him. What the fuck? Buggy should just start an advertising agency. He'd be the best in the game. That's basically another he'd be another black market guru like Morgan's or fucking Dufeld or Giberson or whoever else. God, this is so funny. This Buggy character, in addition to being a mastermind of the mask escape from Impel Down, he was also a member of the Pirate King's crew. That's how he formed a close bond with one of the Emperor's, Red Hair. And now reports confirm that that Crocodile came to his aid at Empty Bluffs Island. Our tapping division have also verified that Crocodile and Mihawk made contact. Their new marine hunting movement has already gotten financial backing from a number of shady organizations. God damn, that's awesome. When you factor in all the rebellions we were already dealing with, this Cross Guild is undoubtedly a massive threat. What bounties are we issuing for these three? With everything in mind, the former warlord Crocodile has earned a whopping $1,965,000,000 bounty for his mighty Logia ability and cunning guile. And obviously, this guy's going to have a fucking massive bounty. His fellow former warlord, Hawkeye Mihawk, has even greater sword skills than the red-haired Emperor. Okay, shit. That's just confirmation. But he still has a lower bounty than Shanks, I guess. He's worth $3,590,000,000, a fitting total for the world's greatest swordsman. As for Buggy, oh god, Buggy's bounty's going to be huge! Oh my god! This really is the numbers chapter. You guys weren't lying. He's worth 3 billion. Okay, as for Buggy, the bombastic clown, considering his formidable pedigree and the fact that he got these two to yield to his authority, we've given him a bounty of. Wait, it's lower than Mihawk's? What? It should be higher than Mihawk's. Come on. We've given him a bounty of 3,189,000,000, making him one of the 2 newly recognized emperors, along with Strawhat. It's interesting that Mihawk has a higher bounty than him, though. I feel like it should be the other way around. But whatever. I'm not gonna get too up in arms about it. That's fucking wild. The world government considers him an extremely dangerous individual. So, an emperor, huh? You've certainly made a name for yourself, clown. I'm so sorry. Let me lick your boots. Shut it. Eek. All things considered, we could take a different angle here. Having him take all the heat as a figurehead may not be the worst idea. So Mihawk's kind of down with it. He's like, you know what? He's like, Mihawk doesn't care about clout. You know, he's a true Sigma male. he doesn't care what people think of him. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let this guy deal with like the day-to-day like business shit. Like clearly he's like built like a, you know, some sort of business here, even though he basically filed bankruptcy and sold his company to Crocodile. You know, he's essentially like, you know, he's like, let him be the figurehead. He'll be the president. We'll be the guys behind the president who actually tell the president what to do, which apparently exists. But anyway, enough conspiracy theories. Anyway, having him take all the heat as a figurehead may not be the worst idea. I, for one, have no interest in the title of emperor so long as I'm able to live in peace. And that's always kind of been his thing. He likes kind of being in solitude, like kind of just hanging out with his girlfriend Perona, you know, fucking, drinking wine, reading the newspaper, reading books, practicing his swordsmanship, beating up on monkeys, going out and killing some pirates occasionally just for fun. Seriously? So Crocodile's not down with that. Seriously? Let him have the target on his back. We can always dispose of him if the need arises. Crocodile's like, I love this smile from Crocodile, man. Oh, Crocodile's got such a fucking good design, and I'm so happy to see that he's like actually like a big player now with like basically a 2 billion bounty. You know, wild, fucking wild. And Buggy with a 3 billion bounty. Mihawk with almost a 4 billion bounty is so fucking crazy. That's true. Listen up, you bastards! We formed the Cross Guild to prepare for the new age. Let me introduce you to our new executives. Kya, it's Sir Crocodile. Chairman Buggy is crying. What's gonna happen to me? So he's like a prisoner in his own home. We're moved to tiers 2, Captain. Mihawk-sama. So we got the 2 executives, basically the business partners. Kamabaka Queendom, grand line. There's no need to brood, Koala. Oh, are we finally about to see what happened to Sabo? Are we finally going to learn a little bit more? At least we know Sabo is safe. Yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay. So Sabo is safe. That's odd. Okay. Right, nothing can taint this miracle. Hee-ha. Am I about to be proven wrong about robosabo? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out in a second if robosabo will come to pass. Robosabo initiative, baby. Hashtag robosabo. Let's spread the word around. Let's honestly, like, we won't know until it's been honestly until they say he's not a robot. I'm on team robosabo. I'm going as hard as Raid will fail, or even harder. I'm putting everything I own into robosabo coin right the fuck now. To the moon, baby. To the fucking moon to meet Enel. To meet Eneru. Alright. Right, nothing can taint this miracle, hee-ha. I'll never forgive that naughty Sabo for making a stew like that. It's meant to have supposedly happened after we split up, but still, I still believe in him. So, okay, so these guys are just learning that Sabo has become like... It sounds like what these guys are just learning is that Sabo has become like a... kind of like a world-renowned figure that's inspiring revolutions all over the world. So they're learning about the Flame Emperor stuff. And but interestingly enough, Sabo has been separated from like Morley and Giberson and the Karasu. So that's interesting. So they were like they didn't know what his status was. Now they've heard he's out there doing crazy shit, and they're like, "Oh, we're so glad he's free." I still think this is a misdirect. I still think Sabo is to relitigate my case, and we could see it could. If I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. But to relitigate my case, I do think that it would make narrative and thematic sense, and just be like a good turn for the story, and make Sabo different from Ace. What we need most is for Sabo to be differentiated from Ace in as many ways as possible. We need him to be his own character. We need him to have his own character arc. And ideally, it's going to be something that it ties into what's going on with the Revolutionary Army. So, the whole robosabo thing was birthed when I basically started kind of spreading the theory that Sabo might end up basically getting captured by the admirals, because he got into a fight with the admirals when he went to Reverie to save Kuma, and that his fate might end up being the same as Kuma. Like, he essentially, just like Kuma was sort of basically either coerced or captured by the world government and turned into a human weapon that basically, you know, is there to be used by the world government, and basically had his agency taken away from him, his freedom taken away from him, to basically just serve as like a mindless, you know, robo-zombie for the world government, human weapon that they could model other human weapons after. I suspect that something very similar will happen with Sabo. Just because it makes a lot of sense for him as a character. It would, differentiate him from Ace, potentially put him as an enemy against Luffy, that Luffy has to grapple with the, you know, the fact that, you know, he's fighting one of his brothers. That could be very interesting. That would be very different from what happened with Ace, which would be good. I would love it to not be just like another rescue arc. Like, maybe like Luffy's going to punch fucking Eam in the face, and instead robosabo stands in his way. But no, like, seriously, that could be like dramatic, that could be interesting, that could tug at the heartstrings a little bit. And also, it ties into Sabo being a guy who always sought freedom, because like Luffy and Ace literally started, they like the whole thing they learned from the whole Sabo situation in the flashback was that like whatever killed, like Ace literally told Luffy, whatever killed Sabo, it was the opposite of freedom, because Sabo basically grew up in this like regimented society that he hated, up in like kind of like the inner ring in Goa Kingdom, and he wanted to be free. He wanted to become a pirate. He wanted to leave that life because he hated it. He hated how stuck up everyone around him is. He didn't like that his whole life was regimented. He desired freedom, and therefore, you know, that's became something that Luffy and Ace desired as well. So to me, it would make a lot of sense narratively and thematically for Sabo to, you know, have that freedom stripped from him. And obviously there would be something where like Luffy would be able to reach his human soul, and Sabo would be able to, you know, live a decent life as a robo boy, or something could happen. Who knows? Who knows what Oda will fucking do? I'm sure, even though we are supposed to believe that Kuma's all the way gone, I'm pretty sure something is going to happen with Kuma where he is, like, they are able to reach his humanity. Because why else have Bonnie around, who clearly knew Kuma when he was a normal guy, and like cares for him, and was there also to save him, from what we can tell, you know? So it just seems like that would be an interesting direction to take the character. That would not make him just Ace 2.0, which is the last thing I want. The last thing I want is Ace 2.0. This is just something that I thought could be an interesting direction for the guy. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And if robosabo does come to pass, I'm going to be the most annoying person in the world. I'm going to I told you so everyone who said that was a dumb theory, because those people who said that was a dumb theory are dumb themselves. But anyway, hashtag robosabo. Let's get it, boys. So these guys, they're excited to hear that Sabo's doing okay, that he's inspiring revolution. I'll never forgive that naughty Sabo for making us stew like that. It's meant to have supposedly happened after we split up, but I still believe in him. So this guy's farting. He's farting, which is launching him into the air. We got Bello Betty, who's got like the worst fit in the game, but is a fucking based libertarian god. Anyway, that's exactly what I was thinking. You always beat me to the punch. Quiet down, guys. You're so annoying, says Bello Betty. Dragon-san. I'm glad he's okay, but if he truly did murder King Cobra, I won't forgive him, no matter what his reasons were. So that's another thing, is he's being, like, the one thing we know is that Sabo is the fall guy for King Cobra's death. and it seems King Cobra is actually dead, and Sabo is being blamed for it. Dragon, I'm pretty sure. Shit, so they actually did extract Kuma. That's wild. That's wild. This is going to lead to Kuma destroying their entire fucking island and basically backstabbing all of them. 100%. Hey Kuma, tell me what exactly did you see? I am yours to command, master. ... So she's crying because Kuma is clearly not the guy he used to be. So phone is ringing. Den Mushi is ringing. We're picking up a call to Kamabaka Queendom. Listen in and record. It could be the Flame Emperor. Yes, sir. Everyone, quiet down. Shit. So, okay, we're about to get Sabo. Are we about to get Robo-Sabo? I think yes, but we'll find out. We'll find out. Gasha. Hello, this is Koala. It's me, Sabo. Will we find out the truth? One Piece. Break next week. As we expected, break next week. Robo-Sabo. Oh god, what a great panel. What a great panel. I love them just standing with Buggy's severed head. That's so good. So funny. Suffering from success. Buggy D Clown strikes again. Stumbling into success. My man. He really is the One Piece version of DJ Khaled. Or DJ Khaled is the real-life version of Buggy D Clown. One or the other, who knows. Anyway, guys, that was a fun chapter. It was a lot of numbers go up, but honestly, I'm really glad that we got to finally, like, flesh out Cross Guild, like, get a better understanding of, like, the dynamic here. Because initially, I was thinking Buggy might be taking a more active role, like, maybe he offered to, like, employ these guys because they were now on the run, and he was like, listen, I have an army, I have, a base of operations, I can pay you guys to hunt Marines who are already on your ass, so why not come work for me? Like, I thought it might be, like, I kind of figured it was going to be, like, Crocodile's idea that Buggy took credit for, which it did end up being, but I figured Buggy might have the money, because maybe he had found Captain John's treasure. Unfortunately, the thing is, Buggy had always been, like, kind of incompetent, but he was competent at a couple of things. He was competent at navigating the Grand Line, which is, like, he was able, because he's traveled with Gold Roger, he was able to navigate the Grand Line despite being weak. He was always, like, looking for treasure, which he was good at, and he was a kind of a competent, like, chemist. Like, he was able to build, like, the Muggy Balls, which are actually, and the Buggy Balls, which are actually, like, devastating, like destroyed like a whole like town basically with just like a single blast, and would be able to take out like the monsters in Impel Down that could beat Luffy at the time. So Buggy does have like some distinct talents that make him like he's not like physically strong, but he does have like other aspects to him. He obviously has like a lot of charisma, which is a big part of why he's successful. He's clearly able to run like, I mean, he's lost a lot of money when he lost his giants, but clearly he's going bankrupt. But he's been able to, like, basically manage an entire, like, global organization on, like, subsisting on, like, hype alone, basically. He's just the best hype man in the game. He's got the best PR in the game. It's funny to see, like, that he's been able to accomplish what he has. But I think Oda is kind of downplaying. He's playing up the joke about Buggy a little bit. He's kind of downplaying Buggy's like actual qualities that like make him kind of an effective pirate. But that's okay. I'm sure at some point that stuff will come in handy, or maybe it won't, or maybe he'll just like lean into the meme, which is I'm fine with that too. That's okay. It's great to see these legacy characters again. It's great to see Crocodile being such a badass. It's great to see that the government, like, genuinely fears him, which is awesome. Like, Crocodile always deserved to be, like, a bigger dick boy than he is now. And clearly Oda has recognized that and has made him the biggest dick boy in the game. Which is awesome. Besides, Buggy himself. Anyway. Yeah, this chapter was fun. And what I'm most excited for is to see what the fuck is happening with Sabo. Is he a robot? Is he being controlled in some other way? Like, clearly, this is a ploy. Like, this is, like, there's no way they would have been able to extract Kuma. Like, they haven't saved Kuma from anything. He is a, like, sleeper agent within their ranks now. He is going to fuck their shit up. Like, the revolutionaries are being lured into, whether it's robosabo or something else, the revolutionaries are being lured into a trap. Sabo is part of that trap. Just like 100% that's the case. I don't think that's like a hot take. I think that is like a pretty cold take. I think anyone, reading this, like, regardless of whether you believe in the glorious robosabo or not, clearly there is something fishy going on here. This is clearly the government like, maybe not even the Marines, but like the world government cipher poll, like they're playing like some 4D chess here, trying to ensnare the revolutionaries into some sort of trap. And that is going to bite them in the ass. And I think Sabo is probably like the fish that they're like it's the worm that they're dangling on the end of their fishing pole, They are they're clearly, and Kuma is like kind of like the piece of the piece of bait they threw out into the water to lure the fish closer to the boat, So there's definitely something at play here. I don't think that's a far-fetched notion. I think most people can probably, like, most people who are like attentive readers can probably pick up on that as well. Hopefully you can if you're watching this. But anyway, great chapter. I had a lot of fun with it. Excited to read the next one in 2 weeks. Like I said, the Chips Ahoy streams are probably going to be bi-weekly. Like I said, for the foreseeable future, at least for the next few months. And like I said, that's just because I'm a little bit busier now. I have more going on after work. That being said, I'm always going to do at least one stream every week. If I get more time in my evenings, then I might do 2 if I can manage it. But for now on, it's going to be, every week I'm going to be doing a gaming stream. And I mostly, like I said, stream Souls-likes as well as like third-person action games. So we're going to be starting Thamnesia probably on either Thursday or Friday evening. So come and hang out for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of like Bloodborne meets Sekiro. It's like a Bloodborne setting with like Sekiro like deflections and shit. It looks sick as fuck. I'm excited to check it out. Been looking forward to that one for a little while. We got a lot of other Souls-likes that were announced recently. Lies of P's coming eventually. We also have Bleak Faith Forsaken, which I'm excited for, and a whole bunch of other stuff that's been like announced recently. I think like in the past couple weeks actually. Over like some of these like different like gaming events that have come up. Plus, I also play like other games. I might play BioShock. I have to finish I need to get like the basically the big ending of Nier Automata at some point. That's kind of been back in the news cycle with like that funny kind of fake door and fake church that someone like modded into the game essentially. So there's a lot left to do. There's a lot of games I'm looking forward to playing on the channel. So yeah, hopefully you'll be able to join me for that if you're interested in that kind of thing. And but we'll be back with One Piece every other week for the foreseeable future. And appreciate you guys. And Onigashimasu? No, not Onigashima. Fuck, I don't know Japanese. I'm sorry. Anyway, have a good night, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Peace, and have a nice day.